Hello and welcome to our podcast on the montage, an important cinematic level tool that many directors use throughout their films. Let's go ahead and see what we're talking about. So what exactly is a montage? By definition, a montage is a series of shots that have been edited together into some sort of a sequence. And oftentimes, they advance the plot, they tell one part of the story, so the literary level, but they do this in a way that condenses time and information. So for example, if we want to show many years of some characters' lives because we needed to move from point A to point B, but we don't want our film to take up 10 years, we could condense those through some well-selected shots, edit those together, put some music behind it, and all of a sudden, 10 years of somebody's life doesn't take 10 years, it takes 30 seconds. That is a montage. Now, why does a montage even work? If we're condensing somebody's life, a couple of smaller shots, why does our brain accept that 10 years of somebody's life has been condensed into 30 seconds? Well, what's super cool about montage and the way our brain works is that when we see images and we see them linked to some other images, our brain naturally and without direction from our consciousness starts to try to connect, why are those two things back to back? Why do we see this image of the young couple getting married and then we see the young couple moving into a home? Oh, that clearly means that some time has passed. Nobody's going to see these montages and go, I wonder what's going on. Our brain just naturally wants to see patterns. Our brain wants to see connections. And so we have become attuned to seeing montages where things are sewn together and our brain naturally starts to infer the connection of A to B to C. It's a pretty cool process. But our brain just kind of takes over and says, these things must be related. Let me go to the most logical pattern inside. So why would a director use a montage? Number one, we're probably going to need to compress time or information. Perhaps there's something exceptionally important that we need to see, but it would take too much literal time for that item to develop. And so we can use a montage. We can edit some series together. The brain's naturally going to see the connection, and it's going to move time along more rapidly. Additionally, montages can be used to tell something symbolically. Perhaps literally, we see a couple characters taking a day off from school. They're traveling to all these different places. They're going into the museum. They're seeing famous works of art. That's what we literally see. But perhaps interpretively, the director is trying to tell us this is more than them just ditching school on a great sunny Chicago day. Through this montage, we're able to see the characters do a lot of stuff in a very little amount of film time. And perhaps it's not the stuff that they're doing, it's the symbolic intention of that moment that we as the audience are supposed to get. And we can't see the entire literal moment, but if it is compressed through the use of montage, then perhaps this is a very important symbolic moment, and we should pay extra attention to that when we see them in film. And so how do we find montages? Well, first off, look for a series of shots that have been edited, usually without dialogue. This probably reveals that time is being compressed. We're able to just see visual images and we can infer the action that is going on. Oftentimes we're not going to have dialogue, we're going to have some sort of musical overlay, some sort of score, the non-diegetic music in film that is designed for us as an audience to see, but the characters do not. So when all of a sudden we see a bunch of back-to-back-to-back shots edited together, no dialogue, probably some music, and it seems like time has been compressed, that's probably a montage. And I think a good place to start to look for those is in that development section of our plot map, that third stage of the plot map. In the development stage, nothing new should really be added to the film. Whatever problems are out there have been established. Whatever character traits are out there, they've been established too. So if a director really just needs to move forward in terms of the film, what better way than to compress time with the use of a montage? And here are some examples of montages from various films. Enjoy.
Hungry eyes, I feel the magic between you and I wanna hold you so here. In front of other, put your other foot down, down, down.
So that's kind of it. Super short and sweet. Number one, what is a montage? That's when we have a series of shots edited together. Number two, why do they matter? Usually, the director is going to compress time and action, and perhaps are going to use these to share something symbolically with the audience. And then finally, how do I find them? Well, look for those series of shots that have been edited together, usually without dialogue, and usually with the addition of some musical overlay. I think it's probably safe to bet that almost every film has some section of montage where action just progresses through this format. So the next time you're watching something, really keep an eye out and be actively viewing and see if you can find that montage. I think that's it. Thanks so much for listening. If you have any questions, please bring those into class. Otherwise, we will see you soon.